everyone, it's Melanie. I thought I'd make a quick video, and I'm actually going to try to make it quick because I have to do something in about 30 minutes, about 40 minutes. This is my Christmas house, Christmas Cottage. So I saw Rachel at Roxy Creations made a video of this pattern, this Lisa Mattock pattern, which is Christmas cottages. Let me get the pattern. And I downloaded the, let me find it. I downloaded the PDF. You can get the print pattern also, but she's in Australia, so I got the PDF pattern, and I scaled my pieces down 75% when I printed them out. And if you watched Rachel's video, just like Rachel's, she's in the first video that Rachel does about this, she mentions that you need to read the instructions before you do it. And so I, read the instructions before I did it. And then I started doing it. And I did it the wrong way too. And I know what Rachel is, I can tell what Rachel did the wrong way, because I did it the same way even after I read the instructions. But then I figured out why it was that I did that. And I think it's because the part that is important, referring to some pre-construction stuff, it doesn't really stand out as part of the instructions. It's just kind of like a side note. So anyway, I made, here's my pieces all kind of started out like this. The pattern is for calico, but I used some heavier wool on the back. This is an Irish wool. And then I did my patchwork of linens and tea dyes. And I guess because I was still in that mood from either, from making Rachel's slow stitch collab piece, I still had some of my red fabrics out. So I used some of those reds and some linens, and then I made my roof out of another color of wool. So I'll have to stand up to see if you follow me on Instagram, you've probably seen the front door. So I made this based on our own front door. And here's the first, let me see. Here's the first front door I made. And I was just gonna stitch, oh, that's attached. I was just gonna stitch the windows on and then stitch around the edges, but it was proving to be too ravelly. So what I did with this one was I took a piece of fusible black woven, lightweight fusible black woven interfacing, and I ironed it onto the back of this fabric, a piece of this fabric, on the bias. And then I cut the windows out very carefully, just using, like some little, where are they? Some little precision scissors. And then stitched it down with, I used these, stitched it down, kind of just whip stitched around the edges. And the purpose of the interfacing was that I hoped that it would try to keep the fabric from raveling. And I think it worked pretty good. Then I did some stitching over the top of the windows and the inside of the window, just like the windows at our house. Our door is like this, but it actually has 6 panes of glass, not just 4, but I didn't think I could get 6. I thought it would ravel and fall apart. So anyway, this is my favorite part. I have a sheer curtain behind on the back side of it that's, ruched on there to, so you can't see everything, can't see straight through the house. But this has, I put a little chiffon window thing back there, and then I was starting on my window. This is probably like the 3rd window I did, but I was starting on my window, and I was going to do 2 separate windows, and then I was going to just do a picture window with no panes in it, but I decided I wanted, so this is a piece of silk organza, and then I did a Christmas tree and put sequins and beads and stuff on it, put that down first, and then I stitched some curtains to the back side of my window and stitched on this little piece of silk organza. And then at our house we have, at my house we have, there's these beams over the windows, big cedar beams, but I thought I would include those because it matched the front door. And then this is a garland, and it has different kinds of beads and some French knots on it, and then some just greenery and stuff. And I might like to stitch all the way over this. I cut this window on the bias also, hoping that it wouldn't ravel too much. But, you know, there's just not a lot of fabric left there. You know, like that's, let's see. I mean, that's like less than a 1/4 inch, or, you know, less than a 1/4 inch, or, you know, it's just not a lot of fabric. So once you sew through it like 3 or 4 times, it just disintegrates because there's not enough there to hold it on. So this is some vintage lace that I put down for lace, and this is supposed to be, before I put this on, this lace on the top was going to be like frost or icicles. I did this end first. This is the first, yes, this is the first tree that I did, and I wanted to try to make a tree that, my favorite Christmas trees are spruces or firs that have, you know, very defined branches and like levels of, you know. So I just did collaged kind of like tiny little cuttings of green fabrics there, and then I just stitched them on by stitching over it, and then I stitched on a piece of some lacy stuff. And then I did the tree on the back, and I wasn't sure what I wanted to do on the back because I was kind of thinking about doing another window here. But then I thought, no, it needs the year on it. So I was trying to think of a way to put the year on it, and I would love to have some just metal numbers is kind of what I was thinking, sort of like house numbers or something. But I ended up going with just, these are seed beads, and I just couched them down so that they say 2020. And then here's the second, this is the second tree I made, and then this was a lot of work, so I decided just to do the 2020 there. And then on this end I had done I did a wreath, and I couldn't decide exactly how I wanted to fill it in, but it was looking really cute. And then I decided to put this this silk ribbon over it, and it covered up a lot of it, but it's basically just I did a stem stitch circle, and then I just did little branches coming out, so it kind of looks like a fir tree or something, like, you know, tree branches. And then I just did little clusters of 3 seed beads to kind of represent holly and whatnot. So then on my roof, I used some of that DMC Etoile, which has some sparkle in it. And I just did, this is basically a blanket stitch because I wanted it to look like shingles. And then, let's see what else. I was digging through some of my Christmas stuff because I'm not usually, I mean, it's the day after Thanksgiving before I'm doing anything Christmas related, but I found this vintage Christmas paper in my stash, and I saw this little snowflake here, and this one. It's really cute too. But I thought, oh, I should make one of those. So I started playing with that, and I think this is the first one that I made. And you could just go crazy with these snowflakes because just any combination of of stitches, you know, that you can put together, kind of like making a mandala almost. So I did some of those snowflakes, at least one big snowflake on each side, and then I just filled in the rest with sequins and beads in different shades of white, and kind of, this is like a sort of a blue-gray, really light blue color. So I stitched it together last week, and I kind of I did it different than the pattern again when I stitched it together. And at first I was thinking I would make a box to fit inside it, you know, like you can put something like this over a Kleenex box, but I decided just to go ahead and stuff it. And when I did, I thought it needed a bottom. So my base isn't patchwork, it's just solid. And then for the bottom, I have a piece of really heavy chipboard that I cut to fit inside there. And so I just stitched it and slid that in, and then and stitched it in. That way it sits straight, and it does bulge out a little bit on the ends, but I think it's okay. So the most recent thing I had done to it was I started playing with this idea, because I thought, oh, I could put Christmas lights, is what I actually originally thought, was to drape, do some beaded things and then drape and have like red and green lights on it, like Christmas lights, since I had already put this lace on there to kind of represent icicles. But then I thought, oh, icicles would be cute. And I used these bugle beads to kind of represent icicles. The only thing is and this is little drop beads, I did this, and now these beads that I used here, they're this check glass. They're kind of frosty looking, and I don't know that I like them. I asked my daughter what she thought, and she said they're great, leave them, but I just, oof. There's something about them. Every time I come in here and look at it, I just think, oh, I don't know if I like those. So I'm thinking, I didn't finish it off yet. I didn't tie it off because I was still debating what I might want to do to it. So these are some seed beads that would actually go with those little swirly icicle looking bugle beads. So I thought I could do that. I kind of thought about taking some rock crystal, little chips of rock crystal or quartz, and doing that on there. But then I kind of still like the idea of what I was thinking about, that since this is supposed to represent icicles anyway, I could just do something and then put red and green beads on it to represent like Christmas lights. So that's still a possibility. And if I did that, I've probably got, let's see, I've got these. These would make cute, those are squares. Those would make cute Christmas lights. Or something like these and these. Oh, these would be even better. These would probably be better. Those, I don't think I have any. I have pink square beads, but I don't have, which I don't know, that's kind of cute like that. Mix, could do all three of those. And then, I kind of like that too. So I can't decide. Do I want to stick with the icicles, or do I want to do something that looks more like Christmas lights? And if I did, I'm trying to debate, you know, what I want it to look like, you know, like a green strand of lights, and then accent it with, these are pretty too. Those are like red beads with a gold finish on them. Would I want to do the strand like green? Maybe. Let's try it. Anyway, I have a few minutes, I think. Yes, I have a few minutes. So, oh, what about doing that mix of beads? So I won't do these. I could do a mix. So let me push these out of the way. I hope you can't hear my dogs. They're going crazy in the other room. I'm not sure what they're so excited about. They're probably mad at me because I locked them out of this room. They're like, I can't believe she did that. So I hope you all are well. I hope that that you had a nice Thanksgiving. For those of you who are here in the States, we had probably the second. Well, yeah, it was the first. It was the most low-key Thanksgiving that my family has ever had, because it was just the three of us. And you know, I have two younger brothers, and my mom lives, you know, not very far from me, and my brothers and their wives and their kids all live, you know, within not very far. But I'm not going to do that. We decided to be careful and not get together. So I FaceTimed with my mom on Thanksgiving and stuff like that. It kind of sad, but I'm trying not to, you know, at least we're safe and everybody's healthy. I'm looking for my little beading blanket. There it is. Oh, it's pretty messed up. Okay, so I think I'm gonna try this. Let's do, oh. Can you tell I'm in a hurry? I probably shouldn't be doing this because I'm in such a hurry. So Thanksgiving was very low-key. My husband, my daughter, and I, and that was it. And every year for about the last 5 years, my daughter and I have gone to Target on Thanksgiving night to go shopping before the crowds of the next day. And Target was closed on Thanksgiving, which is fine. I mean, I feel bad anyway for all the people that have to work on Thanksgiving. But we did go to Target the next day, the day after Thanksgiving, since we didn't get to go the night before. And it was dead in there. I mean, it was just a, you know, like a, I'm sorry, I'm thinking to myself how I want to make this work. It was just like a wasteland. I mean, there were people there, but nothing like it usually is on the day after Thanksgiving. So let's see, we went there and we went to Michael's because it's right next door. And then we came home. So didn't do much with that. Do I want to make these? Actually, I think I'm gonna do like every third, maybe 3 greens, and then I'll do a light. So here's a light. I kind of wish I had a bigger bead though for the light. These will work. So I'm thinking that will be the base of my light bulb, that square bead, and then I can put, the shiny ones though, put one of these on as the light, and then go back through the base of the light bulb like that. So that's kind of what I'm thinking. Guess I can do this on the front, or do this on the back, and then I'll still have the other on the front, and I can compare them and see which one I like better. I'm gonna pour some of these out so I don't make a big mess. Those are still, what else? Okay, I have these gold ones, that will work for the yellows. And then what's the other color? Do I want to do another color? White? Or maybe, white would be pretty, but, oh, is that too big? Yeah, those are 6/0s. I don't necessarily want them to be that much bigger. And I've got some pearl, about these. Maybe I'll do these. So I hope everyone had a happy Thanksgiving if you're here in the U.S. and you celebrate Thanksgiving. And I hope you're all healthy. I'm really getting curious why my dog is barking so much. It's kind of unusual for her. Sometimes I feel like with my dogs, sometimes I feel like it's like I have toddlers because there's so much work sometimes. Oh my goodness. I don't know what she's barking at. Okay, so here's what I was thinking, kind of, to make a strand of lights. Can you see this? I'm in my sewing room, so I don't have the same setup. I can't see what I'm filming. Hopefully I've been on in the frame. Let me zoom in a little bit. You see that? So that's kind of what I'm thinking that I would do with this. Is it would be like, and still I could make it go straight across, or I could let it kind of scoop down, go loose. I don't know. I'm going to keep going and see how I think it looks. Once I get a little more, get it a little longer. The other thing I thought about the base of that I could kind of build my light with is one of these bugle beads. Got these green bugle beads. And I could do a bugle bead with one of these on the end. And then back through the bugle bead to make that like a little dangle. I don't know, I kind of like that better. I like that longer one better. I think I like the longer one better. That to me feels like it looks more like a Christmas light. Okay, what do y'all think? I'm gonna have to go and figure out what my dog is barking about, and then I've got to get ready for a Zoom that I have in a few minutes. Okay, it's gonna be one of those. So it'll either be this bugle bead or that little square bead, or I can just stick with icicles, or I can stick with the icicles and go with all the bugle beads and change over these pearly looking beads to these silver beads that would match better. So I don't know, I'm kind of really liking the Christmas lights idea too. You know what? I could do the Christmas lights up here on this edge of the house. So they're like up, they'd be up here, and then do the icicles on this side of it. Wonder if that's too much. So like the icicles would be hanging down on this part of the house, and then I could stitch the Christmas lights to the outside edge of the roof. Oh, that would be cute too, wouldn't it? Okay, now that gives me even more to think about. So now I have more to think about instead of just changing out those. Anyway, I wanted to share because Rachel had mentioned me in her video and said she wanted to see how my house was looking. So I got a lot done. I just couldn't decide on what I wanted to do with these, and I'm pretty happy with it. It's cute. I like it. And then this will be my 2020 house. So my thought was kind of this would be a fun project to do each year, so I could make a different house, a different Christmas house each year. So I will put the link to this pattern down in the description box below. And everyone take care, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye.